Learn to embrace the suck. So for whatever reason, my life seems to run in themes on things. That themes seem to come up and down and play out in multiple areas of my life. From conversations I have with clients, from the things I read, from the ongoing conversations and thoughts that percolate through my mind. There's a constant theme on it, and the theme that keeps coming up at the moment, which is why I keep wanting to reiterate it, because I think there is something within it that needs to be explored, is this one of perception and perspective. And it came up particularly today in 2 points, and that concept of embracing the suck. And I find that often the gap, and we'll just single out exercise and fitness today, because that's the simplest version, but it applies to all areas. It applies to relationships, it applies to business, it applies to all of those kinds of things. But particularly in the form of exercise and doing difficult things that are going to have an impact on your life, embracing the suck is a huge factor. How much pain, suffering, ability to push through can you take at a time? How much can you push through? Because that's where results come from. That's where you achieve the gap that everybody is missing. Because most people will reach a point where it's uncomfortable, where it hurts, where they're not enjoying the process, and they stop. Which makes sense. It's built into human nature to not push into pain, to avoid pain. It's what pain is there for. And yet it's also the thing that's holding you back. It's also the thing that is stopping you from reaching that next level. So when you can learn to embrace the discomfort and the, well, for lack of a better term, the suck that's going on, the hardship, the pain that you are suffering through, when you can learn to enjoy that, the game shifts. Everything opens up. So if we're talking just straight health and fitness, exercise, that kind of stuff, do you know why most people fail? Do you know why most people return to who they were? They'll commit for 30, 60, 90 days, get some good results, and then go back to where they were. Part of it is because they never learn to embrace the process, to embrace the suck. They look at this discomfort and go, I hate working out. I hate dieting. I hate doing this. And they tolerate it because it's delivering the result that they want, either taking them away from pain or pushing them into a pleasure point. But whatever it is, they are willing to tolerate it for as long as it delivers what they are looking for. But the second you get away from pain, the second you get out of the discomfort that forced you to change, it becomes harder and harder because you never enjoyed the process. You didn't enjoy what was going on. So you shift away and you're like, no, I've had enough of this and I'm not going to continue doing this. So you stop and you go back to who you were. You go back to the beginning. You go back to what you were doing before. And then you start the cycle over and over and over again. And in my head, this is the definition of madness. Repeating the same actions over and over and over again, expecting a different result. No, nothing is going to change until you fundamentally, as a person, change. And that's a daunting task. I understand that because we have this idea of who we are and we want to stay the person that we are. But for as long as you continue to stay the person you are, you're going to keep getting the results that you currently have. And if you aren't happy with them, maybe it's time to change. Maybe it is time to do something different. Pardon me. It's time to be something different. To progress into a different version of yourself. You have to fundamentally change who you are to achieve different results. As I said, that is a daunting prospect for a lot of people. But it's the only way. You have to learn to shift that perspective and shift your paradigm about where we currently are and what we're hoping to achieve. Because where you are, you aren't happy. And I can take a stab in the dark and say that because, well, here we are, having this conversation that you aren't going to be happy. If you are listening to this, there is at least some aspect of your life that you aren't content with. Therefore, you need to change your perception, your choices, and how you view the world so that you can make a change long term. And it can start off with a simple short term, but long term you are going to have to become someone different. You are going to have to progress into a different version of yourself. Otherwise you are doomed to repeat this for the rest of your life. And it's how people spend their whole lives living out the same year over and over and over again, because they refuse to grow, they refuse to change, they refuse to upgrade and elevate and progress into a better version of themselves. You have to learn to embrace the suck. And as I said, I've had clients and they're like, I hate working out. Well, it's always going to be a chore then. It's forever going to be a grind. It's forever going to be a taxing choice for you to do this if you hate it. How are you going to improve? How are you going to stick to this consistently? Because we don't, for long-term commitments, stick to things that we hate. Why would you? This is fucking awful and you hate every second of it. You can't wait for it to be over. It's only going to take one derailment for you to be like, no, I don't want to do that. And it's why we have to shift the perception. It's why we have to learn to shift how we view these kinds of things. Because that's where the greatness comes from. That's where you can make a long-term and legitimate change when you learn to embrace the suck. So I'll give you the example of myself today. So today I decided that I was going to set the new record. That I was going to set a new record on my weighted walk and see if I could finally, well and truly break the 4-kilometer mark in 45 minutes with a 20-kilo weight vest through bush. So far, I hadn't been able to do it. So I absolutely sent it. I went as hard as I could go. That weight vest was heavy as shit, and I am dripping with sweat. I am panting and puffing, and I am out of breath. And I gave it absolutely everything I had. And I could not take the smile off my face. I loved every second of that. I loved every second of how hard that was, of how I was dripping with sweat, how hard I was breathing, how much that pushed me to my limits. My legs were jelly by the end. They were just jelly and lead all at the same time. Every step was a monumental effort towards the end. And it was fucking amazing. Because a long time ago, I learned to embrace the suck. I love it when shit is hard. I love it when my back is against the wall, when I have to give it absolutely everything, and I lay absolutely exhausted in the field of battle at the end of it, knowing that I gave it my all and I came out victorious. There is nothing, and I mean fucking nothing, better than that feeling right there. And that's what it's about. So I look forward to those days. I look forward to the days where I can push myself like that. I look forward to the opportunity to get after it again the next day and the next day. It's why I don't miss workouts. It's why I can continually push forward. It's why I can continually push to reach new levels. It's why I can deal with more suffering than most people, because I fucking love that feeling. And yet, on the flip side, I need to embrace it even more. I know that there is a deeper level that I can push to. There is more that I could be achieving. That there is another level that I could find in other areas. I don't know if it's in the fitness aspect or my weighted walks, but I'm going to keep trying on it. But in all areas of my life, I know there is more suffering that I could take, more suck that I could endure. And if I can shift the paradigm around that and realize that this is fucking amazing, that I love that shit, then life gets better. And everything in my world gets better because of that. And that's what this is about. And that's the difference. That when you can learn to embrace the suck on this level, when you can learn to enjoy every single moment of this, life hits different. You're able to achieve more. I was elated. I'm still pumped. I'm still fucking riding high on that feeling because I went after it. I fucking pushed it. And I loved that feeling of that achievement of leaving it all out there. And yeah, I smashed through my record. Absolutely destroyed it. And now I'm eager for more. Now I'm like, what else could I do if I pushed it that hard next time? Because as I said, my legs were jelly on the way back. The ultimate combination of jelly and lead, heavy as sin and wobbling on every step. So now I get fitter. Now I get stronger. Now I push forward and I do that again and I do that again and I do that again. And I find out how far I can take this. And then I reach new levels and then we level up. But you have to learn to embrace the suck. You want to lead a different life. You want to be different from the rest. You want to learn how to separate yourself from others. This is fucking how. This is how you do it. You learn to embrace that feeling that most people shy away from it. You seek it out and you push into it. You embrace the suck. And then on the other side is elation and greatness. But we have to shift our perspective around it. We have to shift how we feel towards these actions, towards these things, because there is greatness to be found if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to shift your paradigm and change who you are. Because the more you can step into the suck, the more you can embrace it, the better your life will be. Most people live in mediocrity, in average, because those things that they find uncomfortable, they'll shy away from. They'll spend longer avoiding doing the work than the doing the work actually would have taken. So they miss the opportunities. They miss the chance to do the things that would have a long-lasting impact on their life. And so that's the difference. So today I implore you, I encourage you to take a look at yourself. Take a look at what you're doing. It is time to shift your perspective. It is time to change your paradigm. It's time to change who you are and to become a better version of yourself. Embrace the suck. And there's no better way to start learning that skill than stepping in to my 30-day weighted walk challenge. It'll teach you those skills. It'll teach you that paradigm shift. It'll teach you to be the best version of yourself. And anyone, and I mean fucking anyone, can dedicate 45 minutes a day for 30 days straight to become the best version of themselves. That's all it takes. That's the starting point to shift everything in your life. So if you're ready for that, message me. And that's all I have for you. Until next time.